was gonna put my stuff on this morning, but
What do you mean? I mean, it's just, it was in the back of my closet. Like, it really wasn't, you know what I'm
I
saying? Like,
mean,
nothing.
I d- we're doing the fashion thing this morning. That's what
I,
we're
well,
doing.
that's kind of my whole thing is I just kind of do the fashion thing all the time. I just can't help it. You know what I'm saying? I was born like this. It's a whole thing. It's a problem.
It's just a whole vibe.
Yeah.
Everybody, I'm so excited right now because listen, we're already live. Welcome back to Power 97.5 LA, iHeartRadio, the Jamir Smith Show, the JS Journals. As you guys see, this conversation is gonna go so amazing. And I love that I have another fashion person that's literally living and breathing just like me. Actor, musician, producer. As you already see in the background, he has his music stuff already ready to drop the beats, and with this new hot single, Hot Shot, and all of the things. I'm so excited to have you on the show. And everybody, put your hands together for Olly Sholotan is in the building.
It is exciting to be here. I'm glad to be here.
Oh, I am so excited to have you on. But what I want to do first, and normally what we're now, you are episode, oh God, 311. And I'm so excited. Yeah, it's crazy. It's been a crazy 5 years. But I want to start with how has your 2025 been? And also, how is your heart?
Wow, that is an incredible question. I've never asked that.
Yeah.
My 2025 has been great. It's been a really special year for me. Finishing off Bel-Air has been just such a, summiting of a mountain,
Yeah.
and that feels crazy. Honestly, my heart is kind of doing backflips, right? The finale aired yesterday,
I
so
know. I know.
we've all just kind of as a cast, we've all been calling each other and telling each other we love each other, and so I'm sort of feeling everything at the moment, but
Okay.
I'm giving myself permission to feel all of them.
The beautiful thing about that is I remember I got to see a cast photo of all of you guys. And I don't remember who took it, but it was amazing just to kind of see all of you guys together. And and as you just said, Bel Air, which is of course streaming on Peacock, it kind of it's it. This is it. We're over, and I think it left a lot of conversation for possible somethings, right? But I think what we loved about the finale, and hopefully a lot of people, if you haven't seen it, guys, it's gonna be a lot of spoilers on this call right now, so I'm sorry, y'all better stream it up. We got to see Will heading to UPenn and kind of getting advice from a surprise cameo, the amazing and the original Will Smith. And I think seeing you in the background, and you see this overlook of Baldwin Hills and all of the things. For you, filming that last day, how did it feel for you?
We just all kind of cried. The whole, really, I think one of the funniest things about the last episode, right, is as you watch it, there's so many scenes where our eyes are a little puffy, our eyes
Yeah.
are red, and it's because we've just been crying all day. I know there's that scene at the beach, actually, and a fan pointed this out on Twitter. They're like, oh, the scene at the beach with Will, Carlton, Amir, and Lisa, like, I don't think they were acting, and they were 100% right. Season one, me, Jabari, and Simone shot on that same beach for one of our first
Wow.
days on set, and so just
Wow.
sitting there 4 years later with all the growth that
Yeah.
we've all gone on to do other projects as well. We've dropped
Mhm.
music. We've changed as people.
Yeah.
That last day was, I think we all recognized that we were in a very holy space.
Yeah.
And it was just about giving each other the room to feel those feelings.
I think what I loved about you and your growth is that you've seen a lot of alignment within. I've seen some interviews of you, probably in the last 2 years, and my team has sent me some stuff, and you have really seen your evolution. I want to start with just thanking you for staying true to your craft and focused, and really what's next for you, because you have literally the world behind you, kind of supporting you. So I just want to start with that and just saying thank you so much for just being present and with alignment. But when people describe you, they often split your artistry as an actor and a musical artist. But put in your own words, what is kind of like that through line, right? What is the through line that ties all versions of Ollie together?
Man, I think for as long as I can remember, just since I was a kid,
Mhm.
I have always wanted to make people feel something, right?
Yeah.
Whether it is sadness sometimes, whether it's I want to make people dance, whether it's just like I want to be the soundtrack to people's experiences in life.
Come on, words early in the morning. Come on. Come
You know,
on. Is that what we
I
want
think
this
that,
morning?
yeah, I think that life is a really beautiful gift, right? And for all of us to wake up and walk around and see our loved ones and experience it is such a gift. And so if I can be an accompaniment to that, whether that's as a soundtrack or as your favorite show that you watch every week, or as being in a movie that you and your significant other or your son or your daughter or your
Yeah.
parent love, like that to me, that is the human experience to me.
Yeah. Well, and I think about just your career, and for me, the first thing comes to is music because I love the music and I love what you put down, what you write, and all the things. And we're going to talk about the music because I got some questions. I got some questions from 2023. I got some questions, but
Oh God.
listen, I like to go back. I like this is what we do. But for you, if the world only knew you from Bel-Air, right?
Hmm.
What's that one truth about you that you wish that they understood about the artist that is behind the character?
I am a nice person, right? Like,
You're like, I'm just saying.
yeah, like I'm a nice person because I remember when that first season aired, the internet's first reaction was like, "Who is Carlton?" I don't like Carlton. I thought he was going to be goofy and funny and dancing. And I think the beautiful thing about his growth throughout the seasons is that you do see his softer side, and I think that's the thing I just want to let people know. I am nice, and I do enjoy fun things sometimes.
You're like, listen, guys, there is a separation between the characters. There's a Carlton and then there's
Yeah.
an Ollie. I'm just saying. But
Yes.
you and I have a lot of alignment when it comes to the world of travel and your origin story, right? From Atlanta, like myself,
Word, word.
shout out to ATL, but also Nigeria, Houston, and then of course ending here in Los Angeles. You spent a lot of your early years in Nigeria before kind of moving to Houston. At
Mhm.
the age of 10, how did that kind of cultural migration really kind of shape your worldview as a young artist?
I actually think that a lot of that was fundamental to, I would say its biggest impact has been in my music,
Okay.
right? Because I grew up in Nigeria listening to a lot of Motown, to Michael
Yeah.
Jackson, to
Yeah.
Whitney, but also to a lot of the original Afrobeats artists, right? P
Right.
Square, D'banj, like all
Yeah.
and now Afrobeats is having a moment, but there are the grandfathers in a way of
Hmm.
Afrobeats. And so when I moved to the States, hearing all these new sounds from, Lady Gaga to Avril Lavigne, I remember when The Weeknd first dropped, like all of these sounds kind of felt like this thing of I have to figure out how to make the new sounds that I'm hearing
Hmm.
marry sort of what I grew up with.
Yeah.
And so I think I got really, really good at kind of being a cultural chameleon in that way. And it's reflected both in my music, but I also think in my body of work as an actor.
I think so, right? I think I had a really beautiful marriage, and we saw that a lot in your artistry and your music, but also in at Houston's HSPVA, you focused on theater and you were named a Young Artist finalist. What did that early validation really kind of unlock in Young Ollie?
I always say young arts was the moment when I realized that this could be a viable career, right?
Mm,
I remember, here I was doing the thing, and in a way, we're all just kids, and we all have dreams, and it'd be nice. But so the National Young Arts Foundation, they are this foundation based in Florida, I think Miami, yes, based in Miami,
okay.
and every year there's over 11,000 applicants of just
Oh,
high school kids, right? And they all submit auditions and they all submit tapes and they pick, I believe it's 20 finalists to go out, get flown out to Miami and just
okay.
be for a week. We're taught by industry professionals. And I remember thinking if I could be selected out of over 11,000 applicants,
Crazy.
I don't know, maybe there's a world in which this thing that I want to do is possible. And
Right.
here we are today.
You're like, and here we are in the building. No, and I think, in my mind, I think of like my trajectory of all the places that I've lived and the mentors and the people that I've been around. Was there a teacher or a moment at HS PVA when you realized, yes, this is really my path?
You know, my sophomore year, I had done, or was it my junior year? I'd done a production of Dreamgirls where
Okay.
I played Curtis Taylor Jr.
Come on, Curtis.
And we had a guest director, Miss Dupree.
Okay.
And I remember there was just that moment. It's the when I first saw you, I said, "Oh my, that's a dream."
Oh, come on. Just
But
sing. Oh, come on.
I do remember there was a moment in rehearsal where I had sang that, and the air stood still, and Mr. Pre goes, "That is what I want you to do every single
Mm,
time." And I just had this moment of, wow, I can really affect people like that.
yeah.
That's possible with the thing I can do.
Hmm.
And, it's just been onwards and forwards since then.
Shout out to Mr. Pre. Listen, you've lived across different cities and cultural identities. How has that really shaped your roles, right? In the theater, the films, the music, all of the things and the stories you want to tell. How has that shaped?
I think really at the core of all my work, there's this idea that we're all kind of the same, right?
Mm,
We're all born in different places, apologies.
all good, all good. That's what we do. We
Um,
like a good live moment. We love
so
it.
my phone is always on Do Not Disturb, but my little siblings, whenever they call me, it always goes through because I'm like, y'all need
Mine,
something?
mine too. Yeah, I'm like, Mom, what is it? She's like, I have a question
Yeah.
about this sweater. What?
No, literally, it's never important, and so I need to
It's
fix it.
never important. Never.
Nah,
No.
but this idea that we're all one people, right? We're
Yeah.
all, no matter where we're from, no matter how we were raised, there is this through line of humanity, and
Yeah.
I think my goal is about finding more of our similarities than our differences.
Have
Uh,
to. Have
and
to.
but even with Carlton, right? I think Carlton is a character that you meet and you immediately don't like him, and you're like, who is this? But as you learn more about him, you see, okay,
Hmm.
you know what? With compassion, I can understand him.
I've read a lot of fans' comments and people that have followed the show, since the first season to the finale. And, you were definitely the breakout and the breakthrough kind of character that a lot of people either saw themselves, knew people that saw themselves within you. And I want to thank you and I think a lot of, we have a lot of writers and directors and artists and creatives on the show. Um, and I think about you guys as characters and how much you have to endure. And I remember you were talking on one of your interviews about, I don't know if this was season 2 or 3, and how you got one of the scripts, and I think you and Will were arguing about something, and it was like you had to live with that script for 2 weeks, and then it was just like, oh God, now I have to act this. And I'm just like, how are y'all living with this for 2 weeks? I'm pulling hair out at this moment, right? But you really are the breakout and the breakthrough star, and Bel-Air and Carlton really was landing a legacy role. And you kind of reimagined the legend. You really did. Carlton Banks is one of the most iconic television characters ever.
Hmm.
And my question is, what was your first reaction when you realized you would be the one kind of reimagining him?
Well, my literal first reaction was, "Damn, I got to go to work," because at the time, I was working at Equinox, which is a gym out
Shout out
here.
to Equinox. Yeah,
Not
absolutely.
Equinox. I was working front desk. My agent had called me, and he said, "Hey, Ollie, I have terrible news. You're gonna have to tell Equinox that you can't continue with them because you're Carlton Banks." And I was like, this is crazy. So
Uh,
I go into work, and I just remember being like, I I don't even know. Like, no one here knows, right? Because I can't tell anyone. I'm
right,
under
right.
17 NDAs. I'm like, no one here knows that I'm what? Um, and it was also that moment of, okay, you know what? It's one thing to get the job, but now I have to actually do the job, and
Right.
that is another level harder,
Yeah.
right? And then
Mhm,
it's gonna come
mhm,
out. It's gonna be in the hands of fans who have grown up with this. So
mhm.
I think for me, it was just about finding my footing and remembering to stay grounded and focused and
Yeah.
just recognizing the job at hand and not letting off the gas until it was done.
Did you ever feel permission to kind of reinvent, right? Or did you feel like the responsibility was kind of to protect the original character?
No, I mean, I think our showrunners and our creators did such a good job that from the
Yeah,
first audition, literally in big bold red letters, I'll never forget, it said, "This is not the original sitcom. Do something
yeah,
different." Right? And once you have something that declarative at the very beginning, I think it
yeah.
really gave all of us the permission to just kind of say, you know what? Screw it. Let's
Got
go
it.
there. Let's do
Yep.
what, we do. Let's bring what we bring to it, and
Mhm.
hopefully they like it.
Listen, we loved it, right? And I think your character, everyone's character definitely was spot on. And you really, as you said earlier, we saw the growth, we saw the alignment. And I'm very proud of how you guys really started at the beginning, but then also tied up those loose ends at the end and how it all kind of just made sense. Bel-Air kind of trades sitcom likeness for dramatic realism. And I think about the emotions that all of you guys had to endure from Uncle Phil to Aunt Viv and you and Will and Ashley and Hillary and everyone, right? How did you emotionally prepare to play a version of Carlton, kind of grappling with anxiety and perfectionism and just really visibility?
Music is and kind of always has been my guiding force. So for every single character, for every season, I make a playlist, and that playlist goes through the
Huh.
character's high moments, his low moments, the moments when he's in love, and that, whenever I needed to sort of drop into that place, there were songs that I would use to just kind of get me there. One
Uh,
of I think one of the crazier stories that has happened is in the very last scene of the show.
okay.
Uh, they use this song called California by Brahana.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'll never forget when I first got the show and I made a playlist. That was the first song I put in my playlist. Right.
Wow.
I remember when I saw that scene, not only was I crying because it's
Yeah.
the end of the show, but I've listened to the song so many times over the last few years. The song has been kind of my emotional rock through so many scenes throughout the
Mm.
years. And for that piece of alignment to just come in right at the end, it just, man.
It was just all just a beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful gift in a bow. So we're doing something different with you. And I thought about something. We're gonna do a music interlude because
Ooh,
it's you. And it's a music interlude, and it's something I have never ever done before. I said, I'm gonna try with Ollie.
all
So 2023.
right.
I want to talk about excess and I want to talk about Gimme Waste.
Okay. Okay.
Tell me about those two songs and where were you in that moment? Because you wrote. I think the people have to understand this man writes. It's
Yes.
not, yes, you have people in collabs and all of the things and people working with, but you write a lot of your music. Talk to us about 2023. Where were you in the mindset? Because I'm not going to go over the lines on Gimme Waste. Shout out to Gimme Waste. If y'all need to download the song, download it. But it's Gimme the Waste.
So okay, where was I? So with excess, I think we were between seasons 2 and 3 of the show, I think, and I think my life had kind of hit the peak of, oh my God, everything is changing,
Yeah.
and is this idea of, man, Hollywood is incredible. It all feels like excess in the best way, and
Right.
excess is a song about indulging a little bit, like a little bit of overindulgence. Because look, I think a little bit of overindulgence never hurt nobody.
That's okay.
And so that's kind of one of those songs where I'm just enjoying life. And Gimme Waste, when I talked about earlier of this idea of marrying the music I grew up on,
Yeah.
music I'm hearing, I think Gimme Waste was one of the first times that I really, really found that middle ground because I produced it. Like I wrote
Yeah.
it, I produced
Yeah.
it. And with that song specifically, I really wanted to explore how does Afrobeats interface with American pop music.
Hmm. It
And
was
so that's
good.
actually
It
one
was
of
good. It was good.
thank you. That's
Yeah.
one of the songs. I have two versions of it because I have the
Oh, yeah.
produced version, and then there's
Mhm.
this kind of stripped down, slower version that I found because I think the song also works as a ballad.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. And I mean, when we talk about collaboration, I like to bounce right back.
Mhm.
Collaborative efforts kind of in the process with the cast and directors and the showrunners. What was there a moment that on set when the ensemble kind of kicked in a way that it kind of felt like this is going to be historic?
I mean, there are too many moments to count,
Yeah.
honestly. There are too many moments to count. I know really throughout that last episode,
Okay.
every single scene that we're all in,
Yeah.
we're all firing at a million, right?
Yeah.
I talked about that beach scene, even the final scene where everyone says goodbye to
Hmm.
Will. I remember the group hug wasn't originally scripted.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
it wasn't scripted. We say goodbye to Will, and I remember on the day we all just stood there looking at each other during the first take, and we all just started crying. And in that moment, it's like, what are we gonna do? Not hug each other? And we just, we go into this group hug, and Jordan is standing over to the corner, and he's like, I don't really, you know what? And then I remember someone goes, "Come on, Jazz, get in here." All of that was
Wow.
just from the heart, and I think in that moment we understood that, wow, we've done this, and we did
Hmm.
it.
Hmm. I want to get into some questions because when people heard that you're going to be on the show, the questions kind of just started rolling in.
Okay.
First question comes from Christopher. Christopher is out of Brooklyn, New York, and he says, "Ali, what did you learn about yourself while embodying Carlton?"
Man, I learned I'm a slightly more emotional person than I realized.
Okay.
Growing up, I've never been too much of a crier or a feeler. I
Okay.
think this show has really unlocked a more tender side to me that I really appreciate.
Woo, okay. Because listen, you had to cry and yell and fight and run and all of the things. No.
Yeah.
Brittany out of where is she? She's in Compton. She says, "Did you feel permission?" Nope, we asked that one. So she has a second one. Was there a scene that changed you personally?
Whew, was there a scene that changed me personally? At the end of season two, at the end of season two, when Carlton admits that he is a drug addict in front of the whole school, I just remember feeling this pressure to
Wow.
deliver on that scene because I knew how important the scene was.
Yeah.
But only when I kind of let go of that pressure was I able to do it. And that
Yeah.
just kind of reminded me that yes, diamonds are made under pressure, but also we have to be so forgiving to ourselves as artists, as professionals, as people with aspirations. And you have to get out of your own way to allow yourself to do the thing.
Mike out of Atlanta, Georgia says, "Ali, what internal battle do you hope Carlton confronts next?"
Self-love, right? I think going to an HBCU is gonna be such a change for him, and I'm so
Right.
proud of him
Yeah.
making that decision. And I think he's gonna be in a lot of situations that are gonna simply be new and
Yeah.
exciting and wild. And I think he's got a lot to learn.
I think so too. So I want to get into the music, right?
Mhm.
Laminate Records, and I thought about just your creativity and your sound. Um, Independent artistry.
Mm.
Uh, I consider you with kind of a sonic identity and really kind of creating outside of the screen. But you also have created your own label. What does independence kind of mean to you?
I think independence is about choice, right? It's about this idea of a freedom to, do I want to release a song now? Do I want to release it with a video? It's about choice. And I think my choice of independence, at least at the beginning of my career, was really about finding what do I want to say, right? What
Mm,
do I want to say? How do I want to say it? What sounds, what textures do I want to explore? And the idea being that once I find that,
hmm.
now, actually, it's very cool. I'm at the stage where I'm looking to partner with a bigger label.
Yeah.
Because I think once an artist knows themselves, then getting plugged into those resources only
Mm.
lets you go further. And
I've
so,
always,
yeah, really, it's about choice. And I think that every artist's goal is to be authentic and
yeah.
have, the ability to amplify that authenticity.
I think about your music, and I feel like something that didn't get all the love that it should have is Hollywood Boulevard. And I think for me, I have three favorite songs that, of course, I wanted to let you know since I had
Okay.
you on. Breakdown was my number one. Shout out to Breakdown.
Word.
Um, Sun's Lullaby, I
Hmm.
think, is something that so many people you promoted it, and I think a lot of people really love that song. And I have a kind of a tie. Body and Bless Me.
Word. Word, word, word. Great choices. I like them choices.
Yeah.
Those are,
What?
yeah, Hollywood Boulevard. That was my EP that I released earlier this year,
Yeah.
back in February.
That's why I'm like, I need you to re-release this bad boy again. Because I mean, I feel like the people really didn't get the love on this project as much as they should. And it's such a beautiful project. When you think of this, it's a pop album ish, right? Or they classified it as a pop album. For you, what were you trying to get across with Hollywood Boulevard?
Hollywood Boulevard was kind of in my head, it was sort of my introduction,
Yeah,
right? This show has changed my life in so many ways. And
yeah,
Hollywood Boulevard was an exploration of that, right? Everything from what it feels like to become famous
right.
love and how difficult love is, but how rewarding love is and the impact that my life has had on my parents
Mm.
and how they see me and how I see myself. And yeah, Hollywood Boulevard was just my sort of love letter to my career so far, right?
Yeah,
But it's interesting that you say that it feels like it hasn't gotten love because I always say that my music is kind of like my own little fan club.
yeah.
Yeah, I've sort of enjoyed it being this small club for like the because
I
it's
hate
very
it,
like
but
if
it's
you know
so
you
good.
know.
It's so good. I'm like that parent in the background. Let everyone know he's amazing.
But it's cool, right? Because like Bel-Air gets to be the big thing that everyone
Yeah,
knows. And the music is sort of like if you know, you know. And
yeah,
I'll have a few fans like come through and they're like, hit the breakdown.
right, right, right.
And I'm like, hey, you're a real one.
You're
Hey,
like,
we're
okay,
here. We're
yeah,
here.
you get it, you get it. You know what? This was not a question in the music space, but I just thought about this when you mentioned them. When you got the role
Hmm.
for Carlton, what was your parents' reactions?
Oh, they screamed. I remember calling my mom and dad, and they it was just screaming. I mean,
Yeah,
I remember in high school when I told them, you know what, I think I want to be a performer. And
yeah,
they're Nigerian, right? So the
yeah.
expectation
A
culturally,
doctor, a lawyer. Yeah, yeah,
engineer.
yeah.
But the
Engineer.
most incredible thing about my parents is I remember when I told them, my dad looks at me and he says, sure, just be the best one. Right,
Wow.
and they've championed me from the very beginning, so I know
Wow.
that that moment felt like validation for them,
Yeah.
right? Of like, you know what, we did do the right thing, and I know it felt good for them.
For artists that are interested in just how you are in this music space, when
Mhm.
you're producing, what is your process for kind of building a track? And also from the silence to the sound, what does that really look like?
It looks like a lot of failure, honestly,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's a lot of kind of you have to open your mind. I think Pharrell says it best. We don't create anything.
Mm-hmm.
The goal is to be an open vessel for whatever sounds the universe wants to come out in that moment.
Yeah.
And so it's about just opening your mind and letting everything flow through you. And you're
Yeah.
going to try things and that's not going to work. And you'll try something and remove it and try something else. But then eventually, slowly but surely, right? It's kind of like chipping away at a marble statue where
Right.
slowly but surely the shape starts to take form and you see the hands and you see
Mm-hmm.
the face
Mm-hmm.
and you see the details. And then at that point, I think every single artist just knows when they hit that point, and then you're just off to the races.
Right. Yeah. You're like, listen, it's all bets are off. Let's do it. I
Yeah.
think of just your craft and your discipline and the work kind of behind the work as well, right? You're an actor who kind of moves between film and television, theater and music. What's that one craft principle that you never ever are going to compromise on?
Always show up. That's it. Just always show up and give your 100% of that day, right?
Yeah.
And that day's 100% may be more or less than the previous day's 100%, but
Mm-hmm.
your goal is to always show up, right?
Yeah.
I'm still in acting class. I'm still in dance class. I
Mm-hmm.
am still, I'm still taking singing lessons,
Yeah.
right? Because it doesn't matter how good I was yesterday, I can always be better.
Mm-hmm.
Think in that constantly showing up, there's this false idea, right, that once you make it, then like, woohoo, you're done, right? I've done an off-Broadway show. I'm still in dance class.
Yeah.
I think that's it. You just have to show up every single day.
I always say that people continue to keep doing the work. You originated the role of young Ibrahim Ferrier, right, in the Buena Vista
Fair.
Social Club. Yeah, the Buena Vista Social Club and off Broadway. What did that theater kind of give you that screen and acting did not give you?
I mean, theater, you get the real human live response.
Yeah,
Then the audience is there with you, which
yeah,
is unlike anything you can feel. You remember when I talked about that moment in Dreamgirls when the air
yeah,
filled?
yeah.
That you get that every single night, right? In your New York, audiences are coming from far and wide, and they sit in that theater with you. And when they hear you sing, there's a song that I sing in the show, Un suave murmullo en el silencio. And the air stands still and everyone's just sitting there. That is a feeling unlike anything I've ever experienced.
As we get ready to wrap our show, I had recurated the end of the show called the therapy session. And I love this part because these are the questions that nobody ever knows. And you only get a couple of seconds to really think about it. And it really just makes you kind of think about self and things and the journey. I love
Oh,
this.
I'm terrified.
You and me both. Because every time I'm talking about therapists, I'm like, wait, what? Ma'am, is that what we're doing? Okay. Um, Ali, what are you most passionate about right now in the moment?
Right now, I'm really passionate about finding my next project. I'm reading a lot of scripts and I'm excited to see what that thing is going to be.
What's something you're trying to improve about yourself?
Ooh, I've been heavy in ballet classes right now.
Wow.
And my flexibility is pretty bad. So I'm trying to, I want to grow old and still be able to touch my toes.
You're like, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Um, what is your favorite way to unwind after a crazy, crazy busy day?
I go to the gym, I come home, and I watch a television show.
I love it. What is the most interesting article or a podcast that you have encountered? I've seen a couple that you've been a part of. You actually
There's this podcast called Scamfluencers.
okay,
Scamfluencers, I think it's a Wondery podcast, and they go through like famous scams. And there is this old episode on Hush Puppy. It's like a 2 or 3 part
okay.
series where he's this famous Nigerian scammer. It's incredible, best thing I've ever heard. Go listen to it right now.
Who is someone that you look up to and why?
Will Smith, man. I
Yeah,
mean,
shout
he
out
has
to
had the career, right?
yeah,
He not only has paved the way for us just from giving us the blessing to do this show, but also the way he broke down barriers racially, right? He was told, you know what? Black movie stars just don't really open movies overseas, and he said, "Bet, watch."
yeah.
That's tough. You know what I'm
It is.
saying?
It is. Yeah, I remember going to the premiere of First Name on the Call Sheet, and it was interesting just to see the stories of all of these actors and actresses, and to know a lot of them, and to your point, to hear Will's story and to see how much he has done for himself, for the culture, for men, for women, for just every single person that had come before him or after him. He's paved a beautiful way.
Yeah.
Um, who is someone? No, I'll save that. What does happiness look like for you?
Ooh, happiness looks for me right now at this stage of my life like productivity.
Mm.
Yeah.
What is the most romantic thing someone has ever done for you?
Man, that is see me for who I really am.
Mm.
Honestly, that sounds very heady, but
No,
just the ability to see me and know what I need before I need it is yeah.
I love it. I love it. Listen, you're balancing kind of two full careers, right? What is your North Star? And also kind of like that thing that kind of keeps you grounded in purpose.
Uh, I'd love to win an EGOT, but
Come
also,
on. Come on.
but also my North Star is knowing that I come from a long line of people who've had dreams,
Yeah.
right? And so the chance to make them proud is very exciting to me.
You've had the opportunity to do off Broadway, and of course, an amazing television series. You've built a beautiful community of collaborators, but a family within the Bel-Air world, the behind the scenes people, the craft services, the directors, all of the people, right, that are part of this beautiful project. You're doing so many amazing things when it comes to the music. You are really uplifting your entire community in Nigeria, in LA, in Atlanta, your family. Ali, what do you want your legacy to be?
Man, I want my legacy to be. I would love to go down as one of the greats, right? One of the greatest entertainers in the walls of history, which is a very grand goal. But I think that greatness comes not only from impact but from authenticity, right?
Yeah.
And from intent. And I'm someone that's very intentional with kind of everything I do. So I think that.
We see that in all your projects. I want to thank you. I want to thank you for your footprint. I want to thank you for all the things that you have done, all the things that you're going to do. Um, any last words you want to leave with any of your fans, any of the people that follow you, any of your friends, all the people? Any last words?
Man, I love y'all, and I wouldn't be where I am without every single one of y'all, both from my fans to my friends to my family. You've all left a very deep impact on me and my spirit, and I'll see you again soon.
That's it. Everyone, I want you to make sure that you support at OLLYSHO, and that is OLLYSHO, and that is on Instagram. And make sure you download the music. I want y'all to blow up Hollywood Boulevard. I don't care what he say. I love the album. I need everybody. I know he wants to keep it close to the chest. I want everybody to make sure that they put it out there in their heart. And I want to thank you so much just for all the things that you have done and the service that you leave for all of us. And as we always say on Power 97.5 LA, on iHeartRadio, and on the JS Journals and Jamir Smith Show, stay positive but stay creative. Until next time, thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.
Thank